Hey guys, my name is Seniac and welcome back to another episode of FishTown here in City Skylines 2. Well, last episode guys, we built our very first inland fish farming area. And it's doing pretty good, and I didn't realise there was actually some upgrades we could add to it which increases the storage. But I don't feel like we need to increase it. I think we're happily just chugging along right now, farming those fish inland. And we are making quite a decent amount of profit. Since last episode, I've also lowered the bridges finally. They're a little bit too high now. They make a little bit more sense for the ships coming through. I still slightly elevated them. You could probably argue I could have kept them on the ground, but it didn't like building flat to the floor, so it is what it is, and I think it now looks a little bit better. Something else we're experiencing is a lot more bike traffic, but I have also noticed, now, even though we did fix the trains in the last episode, they keep breaking the cargo trains, which we're going to need to sort out today, because today we are going to be building the airport. Now, the reason why we need to kind of get that sorted is because cargo trains are also going to go to the airport. And it'll be another way that we import and export goods out of the region apart from the cargo ships. So we should be exporting a whole lot more. But also, without the cargo trains, they start to use trucks instead. And all of a sudden, I now have mass amounts of traffic, which is not looking good, boys. It really is not looking good. So we're going to hopefully solve the train traffic or the train problem. I'm not sure why they keep getting stuck all of a sudden. And hopefully we can also get this big, beautiful airport all set up. So if you are enjoying the series so far, I want to see more, then make sure you smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you are new around here so you do get notified when more episodes do come out. But I asked you guys to give me some suggestions on where we should place the airport in this episode. Some of you guys said the big islands over here. Some of you said the islands over there, at the top there, down here. Pretty much there was a comment for every location, which was kind of wild. But I've come to the conclusion, a couple of these spots do make sense and don't make sense. So for the airport in question, we're going to be using the normal style airport. And if I just kind of like pull it here so you can kind of see. On the bottom left-hand side of it, that's where the entry point is going to be for the trains. The road is on the terminal building, and wherever we place it, we need to make sure that we're not having airplanes flying over residential areas. Now, we need to be easy and able to access the airport, so when you think about putting it on these islands, it's a little bit out of the way because I have to do like a really long bridge for road traffic, a really long bridge for the trains, and it starts to feel a little bit not right. Down here feels like it's a little bit out of the way, plus it will then be flying over residential areas, and I want to kind of make a nice key area down here. Same for these two. Wherever I place them, the planes are going to be flying over, plus the infrastructure doesn't feel right in terms of bringing big roads and trains over. We don't really have that set up, which leads me to a couple more options. Either place it here within the industrial areas which can absorb the noise and the pollution, which is great. It's kind of close near to train tracks anyway and roads. It will need some reconfiguring for me to be able to do it. And at the same time, I will need to reclaim a lot of land. So I think running it down the side here and some artificial extended islands off the existing islands might be the best option. It might be the best option. So let's figure out then how this would work over here. Now, it might finally transform this area, so we'll see what we can do. Now, if I was to place the airport down, it would have to kind of go in this orientation. And we can see right now, it will be placed something along the lines of here. I could flip it round and go that way, but it means the building's on the wrong side for the road connection. Now, by placing it down here, I could either do it there, I could do it here. So if I placed it there, I've got to figure out how the trains are going to run this way to connect up to the main line. For the road, I think it's quite simple. It could kind of come from a connection this way. We already have a road coming in here which bends. So I'll kind of change it all up. And I might need to redo the ship network here. I don't really know. But I think this might be the perfect option for now. We'll see how it plays out. Right. I'm about to do it, boys. There might be some regret, but I'm about to do it right now. So shall I roughly see where that's going to go? So if I utilize there, flies over and under the residential areas, which is perfect. It will be an interesting approach. Okay, right, I think we've got it. So what I'm going to do is quickly pause the game for a second. I'm going to run this road going out just so I can use it as an alignment. So I know that if I build the airport now here, it's going to be aligned with this road there. So I can kind of then build my entry point based off this. Oh, it's going to be an interesting one. So I can place the airport down. And I'm not too sure how far to move it up by. So I think I might need to... Well, I'm definitely going to need to reclaim some land. That's obviously a given. All right, bring that down to there. Just so I can slightly extend the road. Now, we might, and we probably will have to redo that beach. So I might have to delete a beach for finally the right reasons, as opposed to the wrong. So let's say I put the airport here. So this will just be a placeholder for now. It will be just a placeholder for now. I think I'll move it down a little bit. About there, here. I'm going to say there. Right, it's a complete placeholder right now, that complete airport. I'll delete the beach for a second for the right reasons. Okay, I'm going to delete it for the right reasons, okay, boys? Don't come at me in the comment section. That one was for the right reasons. Right, let me put it back to grass around here. There we go. Very good, very good, very good. So I've just got it down as a placeholder right now before I decide how the road network and the train network's going to run. I will add the cargo terminal just so I can see where the train line needs to technically go. And I've now got to figure out the best way, the best approach to bringing over not only the trains, but the road connection as well. This is kind of wild, I'm not even going to lie. I'm not even going to lie. So first things first, we're going to upgrade the road. So upgrade the road to a normal style, so a normal 2-lane thickness. We know it's all in alignment, and then maybe we can then do something around here. So we're going to have to reconfigure all this for an entry point. And it would be nice to utilize still the 4-lane road system. So if I just kept it slightly... Do you know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to delete all this so I don't have to play around with the alignments for just a second. I will delete you back, delete you back. I'm going to delete this whole bend here. I'm going to delete the road entering into there. Right, that's now all gone. And then we'll reconfigure it all once we figure out where we want stuff to go. Right, okay, so if I ran that to... Right, why is there so many snaps here? It's trying to fight. Just keep it simple, boys. Just like, keep it super simple right now. I'm going to bring this out. There we go. I'm going to bring that out. Just so I can use that as a little bit of a snap. So if I ran there to there. Right, and a glorious snap. Now, I know that road is pretty close to this. That I don't really mind, because I'm not going to be connecting it to this anyway. And I might make it where this bridge, does it funnel directly into this? Does it overpass this? Do I turn it into a highway? Oh, no. I've got so many questions, so many options right now. I don't really know what the best approach is going to be. I could elevate all of this, leading into that, have an elevated roundabout, and then put all my train network underneath, maybe. There is a lot of possibilities. Now, what I do know is, right, I'm going to have to technically redo this. What are you snapping to that is so, like, detrimental? I'm not particularly sure, because I've just realised I technically need... Right, that's now gone downhill. I technically need... I'm going to have to do that again, sorry. I technically need to elevate it. Because it is going to go over as a bridge. And I don't know how I didn't realize that in the first place. Right, that's not aligned correctly. Right, there we go. There we go. So let's try that again. So here. And if I just raise it up to 10. So I've got it to a 10 right now, ready to bridge over. Now, I could do this as also like a drawbridge style as well. I think that would be pretty cool. We'll probably need to just reclaim a little bit more land just to align it right. But let's see how this would look. Now, obviously, I've got to claim more land because I need to create the bridge going up on this side. So, can I align that road from all the way over here? Just wondering if I can right now. So, if I brought you out to there and then raised you up to, which is considered a 10 at this point. There we go. The drawbridge in question, I don't know why, but I've become quite accustomed to doing this. You can see the spacing of it, so I do have a little bit more leeway to kind of utilize. I do have a little bit more leeway to utilize this. So if I dropped you in, the drawbridge then doesn't have to be a big bridge in the sky. It's just a simplistic drawbridge that'll go up and down for the ships passing through. Now, I'm just figuring out my spacings right now. None of this is final. None of this is actually final right now. Because I also need to include the train bridge. Now, can I finally get a train drawbridge in? That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Right, there's no snap on this. There we go. So if I included this here to there. Now, I have to move this further away. So what that's telling me is that road technically is a little bit too close at the minute. So why don't I just do the train bridge first? So let's just say I went from there. And looking at this right now, we can kind of see that this is the shipping seaway is maybe not as wide as we would like it to be. Do I still want the ships to run down here? Yes. Does it mean I can maybe claim a little bit more land? Yes. I'm going to claim it right to the edge and then just slightly smoothing it off. Right, smoothing it off. Let me just do 100% strength on that there. So smoothing it all off right now. Up the brush size. Alright, play mode, just so that the water settle. Is it too close, you think? Could potentially be a little bit too close. But let's get this now all finalized. So, plus 10, which is what we're at. We're going to bring this up and over. Oh, there's no snap to work with, is there? Okay, there's no snap to work with. Let me just go... Let me put that there to there, just so I've got a snap to work with. Oh my goodness. What is going on? Everything is going wrong right now. Everything is going wrong. Right, put you there. And then we'll utilize red or blue. I'm not too sure. Right, put you to there. So then we've got our bridge coming over, which will go up and down, of course. Very nice. And then I can allow that to then turn to run down. So where we then kind of bend it in. It's going to be a bit awkward, but it should work. It should work. So let me just now just delete you. And let me now just set up the road bridge going over. So up to a, like I said, a plus 10. And then that there works gloriously. Going across. We then have our two bridges. We can delete the little bit of... Oh, no. Actually, we don't have our two bridges. Right. How much further away has this got to be? Right. There we go. It's just figuring out how far it's got to be before it doesn't work anymore. And then we'll do normal road leading down for a solid connection. So do the same here then. So... Right, I'm not sure which is a snap and which is not. What is going on? I don't even know anymore. Right, we'll just bring it to there. So, we're going to have to redo all this. This is the road leading out, so there will be probably end up becoming multiple roundabouts at this point. But that's our kind of way that we lead over to this area and how we access it. So, we got the 2 drawbridges, which is amazing. They go up and down for the ships coming in, so I haven't got to change much around here. I'm going to forget the airport for just a second, because it's very, very important right now that we sort out this whole area. So I'm going to delete now this road leading to there. Right. Delete you. We'll delete the tram line just there. The train line is just there. So there's so much right now, infrastructure, that I need to connect. There is so much right now we've got to do. So let's think about this logically and how it ultimately can work. So we've got to bring in the 4-lane road. We've got also the highway road it's got to connect as well. We've got the tram lines that have also got to connect. And then it's got a snap left and right, which we're going to find that's going to become the big issue for us. So back down to 0. Let's get rid of the anarchy just there. Now, I could just allow this to be a straight run into here, but I feel like that's not the priority road. I feel like it's just not the priority road right now. So let me just bring that road down here. That road going down here. Just so I can see where the angles are going to be. Because what I could do is I could obviously bring this in to bend into there. Does that look straight? I think it's the bike lanes throw me off. Bring that into there. And then this kind of bends up into there, which creates a kind of like a 4-way junction, which is probably a little bit cleaner, a little bit more simple. And then maybe I might make some overpasses just for that designated area going this way. So let me delete all of you. Right. Let me see where this elevation will take place. So let me just do this in segments. So we're already at a 10. So I'll bring it now to a 5. And then where does that bend take place? Down to a 0. And then in. Right. So that transition happens there pretty easy. Which does allow me then to place down a roundabout. Now, this is just the easy option. This is the easy way out right now. No dramas, nothing whatsoever. But everything is flat to the ground. Do I want it to be flat to the ground? Maybe. So let me just extend this out a little bit further and drop a roundabout down. So we'll go for kind of like a slightly large-ish roundabout. There we go. So that works gloriously, and what it then does, it unlocks more area around for me to extend upon. So it can only be a huge benefit. It honestly can only be a huge benefit. So that's great. I'm going to delete this back to here. And let me just see if I can run this more smoothly in. There's going to be a bump no matter what. I might just play around with changing the angle and the depth. I have to get rid of those trees, but looks a little bit smoother. Right, that's the road there working. I'll sort out the entry to the port in just a moment because I might make this bend and wiggle in. It makes a lot more sense. Now, we've got other infrastructure we need to take care of. Now, the tram system would be the easiest because in reality, all it's got to do is connect to this line here, which is going to bend and connect into there. So if I could bring this out to somehow connect to that system, it's all good. We can use the roundabout, which is not a problem. But my biggest issue is going to be the train network. So I reckon before I can decide anything, I'm probably going to need to sort out this little highway road. Now, I don't know why I've used a highway. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure why I've chose to go down that road. I can't find the middle point, so I'm going to do it without the snap. And just come out just a little bit so I can play around with it. Put the snap back on. Come out a little bit there. Right, now it's game on. So let me see what a complex curve looks like first here. So bam. 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 Now, is that too bendy? Could we argue that is too bendy-wendy right now? You could argue yes. But you could argue also it does what it needs to do. It does what it needs to do. We've got some rogue pipe work here right now. I'm just going to get rid of. So if I just kept that for just a second, because I feel like I'm going to end up redoing that, because even I don't like that. It kind of gives me an idea where my train network is ultimately going to run. Now, we have a 4-way train system that we now need to connect up, which could inadvertently be a little bit of a problem. It could be a little bit of a problem. So if I made that flow over, we also need the bend to go that way and to go that way. So we kind of need to create something interesting is the best way to put it. And I think we might elevate it all, but my issue is this section. Now I might just get rid of that and I might try and commit to a bridge. But the only issue is these little bridges, they need space. You know what I mean? They need a lot of space to work with. Now, I can probably get that one in. I think it's the blue one. I can't... Oh, okay. I can get the blue one in as well. Right. It's just the... Wait, is it really going to allow me to do it? Oh, my goodness me. I wasn't able to do it all before, but somehow it seems to, like, it just seems to want to work today. Okay. I'm not, I mean, I am questioning it, but I'm not going to question it too much. I'm not going to question it too much. Right. Just do a slight little wiggle. Just so it aligns up for us nicely. It's just what we have to do, unfortunately. That's now elevated. So we could keep that elevated, right? And then sort out a kind of like a little bit of a transition for us. Now, this is going to be quite difficult. I could keep it super simple. We could utilize like trumpet connections, but it all depends on which way we ultimately want to go. So what I'm saying is, if we kept it all elevated, this train line, so if I made this just go for a minute all the way straight out. Oh, that's not even straight. Elevated. If I made you... Where's the snap? There. And we now need to bend these in. So, delete back, because there is a bit of a bump here, isn't there? Wondering if I can kind of just smooth that off slightly. And then we'll build it in segments, so we're still staying to a plus... $10-ish. And then where does the bend here take place? So a 92... Right, hold on. So that's completely all elevated over, which works very well. And now it's just a case of getting these to connect. And providing we do it right, we shouldn't see much of an issue. Look at the support pillar here. That support pillar is kind of hilarious. Right, there we go. Just to kind of slightly remove that support pillar right now because we don't want it. And then what we do is we try and bring this up now to a 10. And then we need to transition this. So we're limited on space, unfortunately. So if I was to connect to there, and that allows him to bend out this way. And then I want to also then bend out that way. So that could work in terms of coming from this direction and going in multiple directions. That's obviously going to work to a certain degree. And then we kind of need to apply that logic going this way. So keeping it to a 10. Right, so if I went and snapped you there, if I come off that there, to delete you and delete you, we're hoping we can apply the same logic here and it not be much of an issue. So a 60-ish, and then do the same again, 60-ish. So we're hoping that's going to work. It doesn't seem to look great here, but we do a little bit more bend. And I'm hoping the train's not going to get caught up on this section. Probably will. I'll probably end up causing myself a bit of a train jam. But it's one of those things we don't know until it actually happens. But that's going to be a train jam magnet, isn't it? That really is going to be a train jam magnet. Right, move you down. Move you down a little bit. And we're hoping our train is going to be long enough that it doesn't get any issues caused with a backlog there. There's only one way to find out, and that's to actually run the trains. But I've got this nice little elevated section right now, which is obviously going to lead into this. And for the longest time, we've had problems with this. So I'm going to delete that, because we've got to also sort out how it runs into there. Now, let me see what I can do in terms of trains, in terms of depots. Now, I could stick to the original train depot. This is actually a pretty nice little depot here. But I'm going to have some serious issues with implementing that. That's just a normal railway depot. We have got the other variations of it. Wait, where is the other variations? Am I going blind? Rail yard. That's what I'm thinking of, isn't it? A rail yard. Look at how big a rail yard is. Now, I could maybe incorporate a rail yard here, but it's going to be sticking out too much. It's way too big. I could move the airport further back to give me a little bit more breathing space. To maybe incorporate a rail yard over here. Like a proper one. That's not like a modded one that's going to cause me issues and like constantly break. You know what I mean? It would then alleviate more pressures around the harbour to implement more stuff. So, yeah, let's see first. Let's just see first what we kind of get up with. So, bring this back down to 0, sorry. And we are going to want to see this to come out. Oh, I keep forgetting to press the straight section. To come slightly straight there. And then where does the bend happen here? So a 73-ish. We'll bring this up to 10. And then we run that directly to here. And then we just need to transition this very nicely from there to there. Right, no dramas there. That takes care of the train network minus the rail depot. Okay, minus the rail depot. So all I'm now missing is the tram connections. Now, these are super simple. I could just kind of completely leave it down to the road network. Now, of course, we will need to transform it. So let me go to the trams. Oh, somebody else, a few people said that I used the wrong, I used the one-way system things over here. Let me undo all of that. I used the one-way system. Have I just added more tram tracks in? Yeah, someone said I used the wrong one-way system. I'm now not using one-way system. And it's still not doing anything. Because because it's one way going round, that can't do a right turn in. So it wasn't the fact that I was using one way. It's just I've got to do that. I mean, I can use one way, if that makes sense. I could use one way to go this way and undo this. But it wasn't the fact that I was using one way. I need to use one way, if that makes sense. So if I undo all of this, and then I upgraded that to do that. Why is it not doing it? There we go. It then fixes it. It then fixes it. There we go. Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it right now. Right, anyway, I'm getting sidetracked again. So we could, in theory, come off here with the tram line to bring it semi-out to bend it for the transition up to there, which it looks slightly a bit off. Drop that down slightly. Oh, there we go. So transition to there, and we just still use the roundabout like we used it before. So we're just basing all the tram tracks off the roundabout, basically, is what we're now doing. And I could do the same coming into this, or I could bring it down to there and then transition it. I'm just not sure where. We should have kept what we had originally in. But it's okay. 'Tis okay. So if I ran that to there for just a minute and then incorporated my connection in, and then we've got to sort out the one-way system that then runs out. So that runs into there like that. I'm trying to get this perfect. And I think I've just got to upgrade this to being a one-way track going back that way. Just going to move this a bit further down. That will do. That then leads in. You can do your left and right turn on the roundabout. It's all good. Passes through on the greenery. And then we are technically back to normal, minus the fact that we don't have the power being connected. And that's because it's now going to be slightly overloaded, right? Is that the right way? Right, now water and power is not connected. Oh, yeah, because that is... Oh, right, okay, I now see the issue. I now see the issue. We're no longer connected to the original network. So, if I just come off there and then go that way, bam, bam. If I go there to there, water's now all connected. We're back to normal, minus the fact that we don't have any cargo trains running about. Right, the bridges work for the ships, which is amazing. And for now, this shall do. We do have the bike lanes, but I can now technically get rid of the bike lanes. Why is that gone to like that? Is there a stop here or something? There is. Right, there is. Right, perfect. Because the bike lanes are going to end there. Unlocks more area for me to expand right now, so I could get another tram depot and expand the tram network. But guys, remember, we're meant to be building an airport, right? You remember that moment when we were meant to be building an airport? Well, I'm now going to delete it. And what I'm going to do... It's very bumpy, isn't it? It's very bumpy. We're going to bring this out a bit more. Alright, smoothing all this off just here. I'm going to bring this road out a little bit more, this 4-lane road. So I'm going to say there. That's not even straight. Yeah? Ish. Right, let me go from there to there. And it's going to allow me to then have some industry on this side, which is going to be a really, really good, like, benefit. So I'm bringing out the airport even more than before. So let's get this in. So put you there. So the reason for that is it allows me to incorporate a bit more infrastructure. And for that, I'm enabling myself now to add in the rail yard, which is just here. So if I incorporate the rail yard, it allows me then to also add in the main line to it, bend that round and in, and then we've got trains that bend in and go into there. And that works in everybody's favor. And then we've now got a beautifully extended island here, which is going to be great. I promise you. Right, let's add everything to it. Let's add a business lounge. Let's add some airport services. Very nice, very nice, very nice. We're going to extend this just further up for a minute. Keep it all as it is. Let's now just reclaim a little bit more land. So once I know how much land I've got to reclaim, I'll then start chopping it back slightly to then shape the island I need. That is what we'll end up doing. So bulk it out a bit further. Very good. Right, let's sort out the main line then for the trains. And it's going to allow me to redo a lot of the train network as well. Right, bring this out so it matches there. And then we are going to set up a very simple 80 by 80. 80-ish by 80-ish. Bam. That's all we're going to do. Now, I need to get this to transition down here. So if I bring that to there is a 300. So if I do a 220-ish, and then we go ahead and we do a bend, but I'm going to bring it up to a 5. And then all the way up. And that leads in. Now, we could extend it. So by default, it allows us to use 10 trains. I could add an extra section on just for the help. Maintenance hall. Throw it all in. And now get everything all connected. And look at that island. It does look a little bit big at the minute. We are going to slim it down slightly. But this is glorious. It enables me to build additional industry all dotted around. So we'll utilize the 2-lane one-way tracks, if that makes sense. And right, let's bring it back down to 0. What would be the best way for me to approach this? Should I just do the middle first, or should I merge them all in as one? I could do a 48 by 45, 45 by 48-ish. That merges in. That merges in like that. I'm trying to like not push it too far down so I can build something here. That makes sense. And then do the same for this over here. So if I do the further one. So, alright, that should work. That should work, and for right now, that's probably all the space I am going to require. So, let's just quickly shape the island before I get my cargo stuff all in. And we'll utilize the softening. So first, what we're going to do is soften from the bottom to just kind of bulk it out as much as possible. So then when we do the top doesn't push back too much and it doesn't look so ridiculous. Alright, there we go. All down on this side. Now, I want it to feel like that you could like run off the end of the runways either way. And land in the water if you're not too careful. That's kind of what I want it to kind of like feel like. Right. So we've shaped it a little bit. Let me just run into play mode to kind of sort out the water. And now we're going to trim it. So it is a little bit too close for my liking. So we're going to push this all the way down. There we go, there we go. Push the waterline slightly back. And then we're going to use the level terrain. Let's do the size down. And then we'll pick round about here. So we'll kind of bulk it around like that. So you get like a little bit of land to play with. And finalize that. We're going to soften it. Get back on it with the bottom first. There we go. Push it all back slightly. So you get a nice little bump there. Right, that would do us good on that side. And then do the same over here. Oh, what happened there? So give us a nice little bump there. I want to try and add like a little bit of character to it as well. And then back to softening. And then play mode, let the water settle in. Create like a little beachy vibe. And I think that's not too bad. Now, it's really underdeveloped at the minute. Like, super underdeveloped right now. So there's not really much going on. The trains are now starting to hurtle out, which is great. So we should see. Granted, they don't have their goods. I think one of these lines is slightly broken anyway. We need to provide them with water and stuff. So we need to bring this over. So I think I'm just going to go from directly there to there. Power comes over, right? Yeah, I think, yeah, power does come over, which is all good. So that will get the water it requires. And now we're technically weirdly back to normal. So I'm going to end up redoing all of the cargo routes. So let's quickly get this sorted out. So cargo for trains, we're going to delete. We're going to delete and send everybody into a frenzy right now. Because now everything needs to change. Everything does need to change. So cargo run. So what we'll do, and it's going to be a little bit dramatic, this, okay? It's going to be a bit dramatic. So we're going to go from here. Actually, no, let me scrap that. So let me first do a line that goes... Right, where am I running it to? It's over here, isn't it? Right, let me first do... When the game unfreezes itself. A line from there, from the harbour, to, of course, here. And do I go back? Makes a lot of sense. So, back. And then a line from there to here. And back. Then a line from there to here. And back. So that's from the port to the 3 train stations. Then we do the same again, but to the airport. So we're giving them a variation in where they can drop the goods off. Now, this does mean I'm going to add a lot of trains to the existing line, which I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that at all. But then I'm going to do something a little bit different next. Not all goods want to go directly to be import and export. Some goods need to be shared between industrial areas. So I'm then going to set up a line from there that then... Actually, scrap that one. We'll do a back and forth line. So there... to there. To there. To there. And then to end. And now it's complete. So that gives us quite a few different options. But it's mainly that we have all the cargo places going to airport and harbour, and then we've got one that just goes from cargoes to cargoes and just spreads and distributes the goods a little bit more evenly. Now that's going to give us 7 routes. I don't know how many trains it's going to want to do, but I need to make sure that the model is the smaller variant. Or does it matter anymore? Does it really matter? A small EU freight train might go for. How many trains are on that route? It was just 1 then, wasn't it? This second one has got 1. Okay. Right, I gotta do 7 of these right now real quick. So, bam, bam. That was number 3. Number 4 is still 1. So now we're moving on to number 5. Very good. Number 6. I'm hoping this is the right style of train. I know we did the 8 ones before. I'm hoping this one's not too long. And then we're going to get 2 trains on that one, which I'll drop it down to 1. So I'm going to have 7 trains in total chugging around the island. Is this going to become an issue? We're going to find out shortly. We are going to find out shortly, and we can make adjustments as needed. Right, trains should now slowly make their way out. They will now slowly make their way out, which they don't look that long. I mean, I'm sure the 8 ones would have been a lot smaller. There's a crossing there that doesn't need to be there. I'm waiting for a train to pass through. So that is going to be an issue at some point. We're just hoping it's not pretty soon. Right, let me get rid of that crossing right now. I don't think it's much the crossing, more the traffic lights. I think that's what it is, right? Let me get rid of the crossings anyway. I'm not sure how I got rid of them. I ain't sure what's going on there. But you got to figure out your lanes. You got to figure out your lanes. Right, that's a longer train on that one. Why are you a longer train? Are you an old train that's come out and whatnot? I'm not too sure. But either way right now, we've got a lot of cargo trains. So we should hopefully see the difference in the cargo traffic. I am noticing a lot of vehicles now flying over, well, not flying over, sorry, making their way over to the airport. Obviously, it's a new storage area that they've got to fill, so we will get the initial wave of traffic as they fill the storage areas. So now we've got the airport, right? Can we, you know, like low-key now create some flights? Yes, we can. So we'll start with cargo, because that's what we wanted to do more than anything. And where are we flying to? So there is obvious. Let me go on a little bit further away. Let's go over to here. And back down. And then we do another one. Is there any on this side? Yep. And then back down. Right. We've got 2 cargo flight things set up right now. And they can hold, I mean, they're bringing in a lot of goods anyway, but they can hold up a lot of stuff and then hopefully start exporting a lot of stuff as well. So we've managed to do it all. Let's get it all swinged around. The passenger ships come through and it seems to work perfectly fine. We'll just see how long this lasts until something decides it wants to break. But we're just going to wait right now for the initial traffic to disperse. That's what we're going to wait for, is the initial traffic to disperse. And we've got to wait for the airport to be fully loaded with all its goods, and then everything should then go back to being trains. And minimal vehicles driving about. So it's giving me room for expansions. I can now add in, maybe I can then add in another tram depot, which will be huge. But one thing we haven't done is passenger planes. And the reason we haven't done passenger planes just yet, because we will also need to find a transition to get to here. Because this is our big passenger hub. We've got the harbour, we've got the subway, we've got buses, which we haven't implemented the buses back in yet, so we might need to bring them back. We could do a nice little shuttle bus from the airport to the transit area, where then they can then pick their form of public transport that they want to go on to get to where they need to get to. So far so good. I like that we've implemented some of these bridges as well. I feel like it's really, really cool thing to do. The vehicle traffic is slowly dying down right now. Is that plane now leaving? No cargo on board just yet. We've got to wait for them to get all their goods. But we've got a lot of storage to fill right now for the airport. So it will take some time. It honestly will take some time. We got some space around here to kind of build up the airport island as well. So I'm kind of excited. I really, really, really am excited. We got an overloaded wind turbine. So we will need to sort out some power. Things are going good. I'm surprised we got it set up as quick as we did, considering all the moving parts we had to slightly adjust. Do like these bridges. I think they're a nice little kind of additional feature to the islands. I mean, some people don't like them. Some people just like continuous flow, which I am one of those people. I do prefer continuous flow. But it ain't too shabby. It ain't too shabby, boys. Right, why is there a train right there? What is it doing? Why is it doing some flip skis? Why are you all having a mental breakdown on this bridge? What's going on? That was very weird. That was very weird. We might have to take a look at that at some point and see what in the world just happened. But so far, so good. We are hoping that traffic is now going to be completely minimal as it currently is. We're still going to get people driving the vehicles because they'll find that it's quicker to drive than go to the depots and trains and stuff like that. Why is the subway trains trying to filter out here? I don't know. Are they coming back for maintenance? Not particularly too sure what's going on. But they do take a while. They do take a while. But so far, so good. Guys, we are going to end it here right now, and I hope you did enjoy this episode. We have the airport set up, but there is still a lot of work to get done, especially on the passenger side of it all. But it's a big island. We still got to fine-tune it. We still got to trim it here and there. Going to add a little bit of wildlife and some trees and stuff and a little bit of nature. We might end up key walling it all off, this whole island, as we finalize the key wall coming up to here as well. So we'll see how it all plays out. But for now, it's a great start. I hope you guys did enjoy this episode. If you did, please smash that like button down below. And until next time, I will see you all soon. So, goodbye.